All right, well, we're back for another installment of the Chris Horner Video Diaries. We are here at the start of Stage 15. Chris, we basically missed you yesterday. I'm going to accept the blame for that. These stages, they started at a little bit of a different time every day, 12, 12:15, 12:25.
Right.
Caught you right at the start line. I want to find out how you're holding up after a couple of hard stages, but first I thought it was interesting hearing your hand just before the camera was rolling. You were looking over the card. So this is something the team issues every morning, or at the start of the race?
This is what they give you at the beginning of the tour. We get these, gives us our signature time, the time they call the riders to the start, and of course our start time. And they also give you, which is very important, this is our neutral section, 3K. So if you got to go to the bathroom or something like that, and just before the race really starts, you better get it done in that section. And then of course it starts right after that. But vital information.
Speaking of going to the bathroom, every day in the press room we get these little things handed out by the race organization, fines and whatnot. And sometimes riders are fined for going to the bathroom in the wrong spot. We actually saw your name on the list the other day. Not for going, not for going to the bathroom. Except for an irregular feed.
I'm not exactly certain what happened. First off, there should be the organization should be fined somewhere too, because after I fed coming down the hill yesterday, I think what it was is our car passed the official car and then fed me, and you always had to feed behind the official car. But it's a crazy single file, single lane, lane and a half descent with crazy turns and huge drop off cliffs, and so my team car came up closer to me and gave me bottles, and then the official car passed me again. The official car's like, we're literally going through the corners like this side by side, and I got from me to you worth of distance there between the drop-off cliff and the red car, official car on one side. So of course I'm yelling like crazy for him to get out of the way, but he still isn't moving. So maybe he just thought he wanted to fine me for that too.
And how does that work? I'm assuming the team pays that fine. That never comes out of your pocket. You probably, it sounds like this is the first you even heard about it.
I heard about it last night actually, but normally it comes, the team would just pay it. I don't even know if it comes out of the prize money, but half the time we don't see the prize money for a year anyway, so by then you don't even care.
Yeah, and you also hear about things where you can be fined for feeding. I think you're not supposed to feed within the last 20K or something like that, and it's a 50 Swiss franc fine. But at a race like the Tour de France, if you need a Coke in 18K to line, it's a 50 Swiss franc Coke, but you're going to drink the Coke.
I pay 100 if you need it.
We saw you finish right up towards the front, obviously not with the top GC guys, but right behind them yesterday. Tell us about that stage and how the body's holding up.
Yeah, I don't have any freshness to finish with the front guys. I think if I would have stayed fresh and I'm looking after just myself, of course the whole race or something, I could be finishing up with the front guys. But right now all the freshness has gone out of the legs from just doing extra work for Levi, Clody, Lance. Certainly the day when Lance crashed on the mountain, when I spent that on the front all day for the last 30K by myself basically. And then multiple other stages where you're doing some work. Yesterday, like I said, after the first big climb, I went back to the car getting bottles, and then I got to come from the car past 30 guys that are single file right before the climb starts, hand bottles off to Levi, Clody, and then be expected to go up the climb too. So when you're wasting that kind of energy right before the smack's getting ready to go down, you're not going to go with the best in the world. You have to be really careful with your energy at this level, and at this point, that's not my job. My job is to get to the bottom of the climb and go up it as good as I can, but the first job is to look after the leaders on the team. And we have multiple different things, like we've already talked about: team classification, Levi's classification, and stage wins. So I'm going with attacks at the beginning of the stage. I'm getting bottles in the middle of the stage. I'm getting bottles after the big mountain before the final big mountain. These are big mountains. and then expected to go up the climb. So you're not going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. Alberto himself's not going to go back there and do the same work I'm doing and then finish with the front guys. So I'm not expected to do that. When I get to the finish and I'm 2 minutes down on the leaders, my job's been done way and above what's expected of me.
And just a quick update on how you're holding up. You had the crash early. Everyone went down on stage 2. Your back was jacked up. You got the physio on that. You worked that out. Your hamstring was flaring up. How is that, and has anything new popped up?
Yeah, well, the back was getting sore today, so it's got some icy hot on the back. Been doing some ice and compression on both hamstrings. They seemed okay yesterday. Now I got a calf muscle that's getting really tight. So yeah, the rest day I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, when you get into the third week of the tour, I don't think there are many guys in the peloton that don't have some sort of nagging pain.
Yes.
And it's just Paris on the horizon. Just do what you can to get there.
Oh yeah, everybody's got something. It's just whether or not that something's going to actually hold you up out of the race or something. But at this moment, these are just major nagging pains. Certainly the hamstring was the closest to actually making me drop out of the tour, but it seems to be getting better and not worse, so we should be all right.
All right, glad to hear that. Well, before you go, I just want to ask you a little bit strategy. We love hearing you talk strategy. From what you saw at the front yesterday, with Astana really circled around Contador, knowing how it ended, it was basically a standoff with the GC guys. Who took away a better advantage yesterday? Obviously, Schleck needs time going into the TT. At the same time, maybe Astana burned some matches yesterday. How do you see it?
Yeah, certainly they burned some matches yesterday, but again, you see a Saxo Bank team that was really tired from the day before when they were, or maybe 2 days before, it gets mixed up, but I think it was 2 days before when they were on the front just all day long. So they were tired yesterday, and Andy's a little isolated. Contador had a strong team yesterday, but they started pulling 10 minutes after you give the break. You give the break 10 minutes before you start pulling. That seems kind of a little bit crazy to me, because why force your team to do that much work? So they got to be more tired today. But they got an exceptional teammate. Contador's got an exceptional teammate in Danny Navarro, and it looks like Vino is doing his job for him too. So they still got some weapons left. I would say Astana's looking okay.
How much time does Andy Schleck need in the final time trial, and how is he going to get it?
Well, if his form's absolutely exceptional, I think he's still going to need a minute, but I think a 2-minute margin would be nice. Somewhere he's got to get some free time, so he's going to have to start going on the attack. On paper, anyways. Certainly his form's better than we've seen in the past, because he's climbing with Alberto when normally it wouldn't be. But even when at that level, he's still going to lose some time.
Is there an opportunity to take that time other than the Tourmalet?
We're running out of time. It needs to be on today. It needs to be on every mountain stage for him in order to get some more time on Contador.
All right, Chris, well, we're going to let you go and ride the mountain stage. Thanks for the time, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll find you.
Yes, exactly. Thanks for having me.
Il a pris également 3 jours de la panne. Gerald de Sionek, qu'est-ce qui motive les sprinters? Tout simplement les Champs-Élysées. En effet, après le passage pyrénéen, alors que Mauro Santombrogio nous a rejoint, on retrouve également Marcus Burgard, vainqueur de Gamp-Emergem, lauréat.
Just like the riders, the journalists start falling apart by the end of the race. All right, well, just a quick start line check-in with national champion George Hincapie. George, we were just discussing that today would ordinarily be the rest day, and instead you've got a hard day today and a hard day tomorrow before the rest day. You've done a lot of Tours de France. How are you holding up, and how does the difference in the rest day timing affect you?
Well, I think everybody at this point is feeling pretty tired. I don't know if anybody's waking up in the morning going, I feel great. But it's just a matter of, trying to stay focused, trying to make a good breakaway. A day like yesterday was a lot of luck involved in the break. It just kind of rolled off and it was gone. But yeah, today typically would have been nice to have a rest day, being a week after the last rest day. But we just got to buckle down, stay focused, and try to get a good result for the team.
From what you've seen with this essentially a two-man race on GC now with Contador and Schleck, how much time do you think Schleck needs going into the final TT, and do you think he can take it on the Tourmalet?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would, if I were him, I'd want at least 2 minutes advantage on Contador. But he's in the yellow jersey and he's in his form of his life. So he really, even if he doesn't get those 2 minutes, you can't count him out. But I would guess that Contador would be the favorite in the time trial.
And do you think Andy can put another minute and a half into Alberto between now and the TT?
I don't think so. I think they're pretty equal right now on the climbs, and I don't see that happening.
Good luck out there. Thanks.
Thank you.
Et nous accueillons maintenant Marc, le public anglais là, Marc Cavendish, 4, voilà, et derrière Marc Cavendish. On retrouve celui qui a découvert le Tour de France. Plaisir, Lance Armstrong qui avait gagné avec le maillot de champion des États-Unis. Andy Schleck.
Voilà Andy Schleck que l'on salue. Il est au départ donc avec le maillot jaune LCL de premier au classement général. Merci à Daniel Mangers qui chaque matin, depuis 37 ans, donc présente l'ensemble des coureurs. Andy Schleck, regarde donc, du champion luxembourgeois. Davis Manchoff est actuellement donc 4e à 2,44 et 5e. Jürgen Van den Broek à 3 minutes 31, alors que le contrôle de points. Au niveau du classement de la montagne, Anthony Charteau est toujours le porteur du maillot blanc en rouge Carrefour, de premier au classement par points, au classement de la montagne, avec un total de 115 points. Jérôme Pinot, deuxième avec 92 points, et Andy Schleck occupe la...
Hi, welcome back to the Morning Minute, brought to you by Road ID. Neil Rogers with Andy Hood here at the start of stage 15. Andy, 3 more stages in the Pyrenees. Andy Schleck is running out of time if he really wants to win this race. We're talking about how much time he needs going into the time trial. People are throwing out figures anywhere from 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, over 2 minutes. Do you think Schleck made a mistake yesterday, or do you think he rode conservatively monitoring Contador? Do you think that was the right thing to do?
I think it was important for them to keep the jersey, but I think they did miss an opportunity because he does have to get at least another minute. Some people say up to 2.5 minutes going into the TT. And really the next 2 days are kind of stages where breakaways might go away, there might be some attacks. The finish line to Pau is very far from the last climbs. Today's stage, very harrowing descent. Contador might actually get an advantage on Schleck. He's a little bit better descender typically. So it's all going to come down to the Tourmalet. Can he get that much time in one climb on Contador? That really remains to be seen.
Yeah, there's nothing that we've seen at this tour that should lead us to believe that Andy Schleck's going to be able to take 1.5 minutes off of Contador. It certainly will be interesting. I think one of the other stories today is the fact that we're entering the 3rd week, Monday after a big weekend of racing. This would ordinarily be a rest day. No rest today, no rest tomorrow. It's not until Wednesday. It seems like the guys are tired and they're ready for a little bit of break in the racing.
Yeah, I think so. I think that the heat, the intensity of this tour is catching up on everybody. We saw guys yesterday that you wouldn't expect losing time, guys like Basso, Kreuziger, even Leipheimer. You can see the fatigue settling in. I think it's a 2-way race, obviously, between Schleck and Contador. Still a hot battle for the podium between Vandenbroek, Menchoff, and Sanchez.
Who's your pick for that battle?
I think Menchoff's going to be in 3rd.
Yeah, I think he stood on the top step of a podium of a Grand Tour. I think so as well.
I don't want to comment on that. I mean, you know, rather so, you know, these guys also they didn't race in Spa, you know, when I crashed, so that was fair. Today is a different story. I would not have raced like that, but you know, if they do that, you know, I cannot. I don't want to comment on that. I think it's fair or not. I think
are you television? Are you television? Are you television? Press it.
Non, il faut lui dire aussi. Ils ont entendu à Spa aussi sur moi. I was not happy, of course, but you know, it is how it is, and I cannot change the situation now. I gotta take, you know, see how it goes next day.
Moi qui essaye aussi de faire des choses bien dans l'année, donc peut-être qu'on a un peu plus de réussite que les autres années. Et peut-être aussi.
Bueno, pues ya los vives, la verdad que hay gente pues, bueno, que lo entiende y gente que no lo entiende. Al final ha sido una circunstancia de carrera en la que yo sé que va a haber polémica. Yo cuando he arrancado, había arrancado previamente a que no tuviera ningún tipo de avería mecánica. Cuando me han informado de que tenía una avería mecánica estaba yo bastante más adelante y bueno, entiendo perfectamente que haya gente que esté en desacuerdo, ¿no? Pero la carrera ya estaba lanzada, ya se paró el día de Spa cuando tuvieron pues las caídas tan graves y bueno, entiendo perfectamente pues que haya cierta polémica, ¿no? Bueno, yo entiendo que él pues bueno, ahora está un poco pues no sé, desilusionado, ¿no? Cómo se ha desarrollado la etapa, ¿no? Pero bueno, desde luego que sé que va a tener una actitud de ataque, pero tanto ahora como antes, ¿no? Como hoy mismo, ¿no? Que estaba pues atacando. Desde luego que la posición que tengo ahora pues he conseguido recortar algo de tiempo, pero para mí la verdad que no cambia nada en la visión de carrera de cara al domingo en París, ¿no? Seguir concentrado, seguir controlando a todos los corredores que están cerca de mí, porque todavía pues, las diferencias son pequeñas y están 2 etapas durísimas por pasar, ¿no? Bueno, pues la primera efectivamente estaba cerrado, he intentado abrir por la izquierda, no he podido, me he conseguido abrir por la derecha y he salido la verdad que bastante bien porque tenía muy buenas piernas, he visto que él cogía la responsabilidad hoy y eso me ha gustado, ¿no? Porque estaba pensando en atacar en los últimos kilómetros, como así lo he hecho, y luego pues justamente cuando he atacado, luego me ha comentado que ha tenido la avería mecánica cuando estaba ya por adelante, ¿no? Desde luego que me gusta vestirme de amarillo, pues como he vestido siempre en otras ocasiones, ¿no? Para mí, más que el vestirme de amarillo, pues bueno, ha sido una diferencia la que se ha recortado. Desde luego que a uno siempre le gusta que sea de una manera diferente, pero bueno, al final han sido las circunstancias de carrera cuando la carrera está totalmente lanzada y tampoco puedes volver a parar la carrera, ¿no? Al igual que ustedes paran. Hombre, yo creo que desde luego que cuestión de ganar el Tour no es haciendo esto o no haciendo esto, ¿no? Yo creo que, a ver, hay que tener un poco de, no sé, entiendo que es una situación delicada, una situación en la que se puede crear cierta polémica, pero cuando yo he arrancado en el continuo conocimiento de que él tenía la avería mecánica, cuando yo ya estaba por delante, pues es cuando me han informado, pero como bien te digo, el día de Spa fui contundente con mis compañeros, les dije que pararan absolutamente, y eso que bueno, pues Radio Sac estaba en volante, paramos contundente totalmente la carrera sin saber siquiera si iban a parar adelante, esperándolos a ellos dos, tanto a Frank como a Andy. En cambio el día del pavé pues hubo una caída y pues bueno, para nada pues se paró. Yo entiendo perfectamente la circunstancia, ¿no? Entonces, sinceramente yo creo que el 30 segundos arriba, 30 segundos abajo no van a marcar el Tour.
¿Está contador ahí? ¿Qué tal le queda el amarillo?
Fenomenal.
Venga, soy español, español, español. Soy español, español, español. Yo soy el contador, contador, contador. Yo soy el contador. En España